Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back. Ask a friend. I'm just kidding. It has been a couple days, maybe like a week. I wasn't in YouTube jail this time. I was just like lifing out in the world. Um, but okay. So I've had this for a while, but just in case anyone else here is like a wine girly, I'm gonna put you on some game. This is called ABC or A Bon Climat, and it's a Chardonnay from Santa Maria, California. It's like a Santa Barbara. Nice little shard. And I want to talk to you guys about this is my dinner. It kind of looks like goo, but it isn't. It is pesto chicken and like it's pre-marinated pesto chicken from Trader Joe's. And then like a spinach that is not a ravioli. I can't remember the name of the noodle, but it's a spinach flavored noodle with heavy cream and some gruyere and Parmesan cheese. Um, so I don't know, kind of trying this for the first time. Very cheap dinner. Mm, that's good. I'm gonna have this for lunch tomorrow too. This is good. Yum. Hmm. Anyway, um, damn. If you want to keep up with me, I would say Substack is probably the easiest way. I just write a lot now. Um, some of the things that I'm writing about now, the reason I'm writing them is so that we can talk about them a little bit more in depth at a later time as my foundation on these topics gets a little bit stronger. But something I think is kind of interesting is that 4B video that I made in 2023 and how relevant it is now. Like I'm so happy to everyone who engaged with it. We were really ahead of the curve, ahead of the time. Um I guess so I wrote it, it's not even really writing. I just compiled a bunch of videos that were about the leftover men. Cuz I kept seeing this and it was like a theme and a trend. Now everybody, especially in the feminist culture and society writing space, this is kind of the space that I'm talking about. And I'll also write something that explains that and what it is. But anyway, um, man, like this is the okay. Sometimes, and I feel like I've been watching this for a while. It's almost like when you won and you've won so big and there are other people who believe that they're like still in the race and like they're not in the race at all, but they're like under the impression that there's still a chance. Now I feel like this is like this society full of men right now, which is a very strange place to be. So if you don't have any idea what I'm talking about, you have not been a part of the conversation. It had to be like 3 or 6 months ago. Diary of a CEO basically had a conversation with some other philosopher guy who was talking about like, yeah, 78%, it was like 80% of men won't reproduce ever and they're not going on into the next generation. I didn't know the numbers were that high, but I guess this guy's been studying that. And then if you also look at a couple other things like the Scott Galloway situation in that book, oh the Men Are Down Bad book, whatever book that is, I don't know. They've all been on every podcast though. At this point, this dude has gone on Oprah. It's like I'm not in the like male loneliness spaces, so like I shouldn't be privy to this conversation, but he's been like pushing it like hard. So it's just wild that like how do I know? I should know about this. I'm not like I'm so far away from those spaces. I should not know about this at all. The fact that I do is wild. Just I don't even like what the fudge. Anyway, so okay, I think like the veil has been lifted for women and this is the part where it isn't just that things are changing, but there's a lot of people who are kind of like what the game that, every I don't know, I don't want to say everyone, but some people are playing. I think they're now realizing like it's like if you're playing Monopoly and all your money's gone, like the game's over, right? Like you can still observe, but you're not in the game. The game's over for you. You can't own anything. There's a lot of people who are in that situation right now. One of the main reasons I just tried to make content about really anything, just to kind of keep this space going in some way, it was about representation. It was just like, I don't know, some things I talked about that I thought were kind of relevant to where I personally was in society. Like, I think the Taylor Swift lens of it all was a really good way to like stay planted, because there's just something about like real modern women in the world, and there's not that many places in the world where most of the women are modern, except like Europe and America. In Africa and a lot of places, like the women just don't have any rights yet, and they don't have any money, they don't have any jobs, so they're not participating in the world in the way that like women in like Europe and America are. That's why I'm saying that. So participating in the conversations around just the Taylor Swift of it all kind of keep the conversation about the economy going, whatever was happening over there. That was like the easiest way to kind of be like, the year is 2024, the year is 2023, the year is 2025. But I feel like now that we're in 2026, there's been like a lot of other players who've like entered the board, and a lot of these players are actually black and they are in Africa, and this is a really great thing. So we can keep this conversation going there, which is what I have been interested in this entire time and what I've been building toward and for. So yeah, happy everybody like who's still here, stuck around. That's kind of been the game plan here for now. But I think the reason that I want to kind of really bring this back to that conversation, the leftover men, like this is a phenomena that is specifically relevant to America, because unlike in other parts of the world, especially where tribalism is like very large and family ties are stronger, there's a lot of like cultural symbolism and, racial relevance, things like that. In America, there's this idea of like individualism. So there's no real, like when people say they're fighting for American ideals, what are they saying? There aren't any. We like there's nothing that we all agree on. That's what I keep saying when I'm like, there's nothing here worth fighting for. You're not fighting for anything, because there's literally no issue that we all agree on. Like we all disagree on everything because we are all from different parts of the world, from different groups, different tribes, different races, different ethnicities, everything about us is different, and a lot of it is in like direct contrast to like other people's beliefs. It was kind of the main reason I talked about like DEI, like, and I'll just iterate the point there. DEI is important because if there's something that exists in America and you start excluding groups from whatever that thing that you are trying to idealize as being American, all you're doing is making that thing that you created relevant specifically to the group who is represented in that thing, and then making it only relevant for them. So this applies, like, let's say tech. If you want to say that tech is invented by all white males, okay, well, then white males are from Europe. And so only European countries where there are other white people for that white nation, for those white people, only these things can benefit them. And so no one else needs to use them. So when I realized that, and I kept hearing everybody be like, "We hate DEI," I was like, "Oh, okay." So that's how I knew like 5 years ago. It's just important to just go offline, right? Because like all the things that they're building are not for people like me. So I'm not going to participate in it because I'm not a part of that group. Like that, like those things don't benefit me. Now, welcome to 2026, and what is everybody talking about? Luxury items are being offline. In the real world is important. Why? Well, because the people are there. That's why. The people with the resources are offline. Anyway, I'll just sit on that. for a second, but also I just want to go back to a few other things that the feminists in the spaces have been reiterating as of lately. Just the sheer lack of value that most men are bringing to women's lives. And the reality that by women, especially women in the developed world, by simply getting a job, you could do a lot less work and have a lot less stress than you would by being in a relationship with a male. that's that's it. That is where the utility of work, um, and being childless is a serious privilege that really all women in the modern world, I think you should absolutely take advantage of, because there's no reason to go the other way. There aren't any benefits on the other side. If there were a benefit, like, show me. And I just want to also be very clear, there's especially no benefit for Black women. The infrastructure just is not there, right? Like, the men don't have enough money to make the experience of tolerating them worth anything. Like, it's actually worthless. Like, you're like taking away from zero, that which would put you in the negative. So we call that a liability. You will not live a beneficial, happy life with a bunch of liabilities. Finance 101, okay? Um yeah, I don't know. I don't have too much more to add to this conversation for now, but I did want to just pop on, kind of pop up. So, yeah.